Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. There we go. I can kind of hear the music. I think these earbuds are definitely going out. I feel like I have to turn the music up louder to be able to hear things at like the week previous. It's kind of crazy, and the amount of times these things are shocking the inside of my ear, ridiculous. There's a lot of trust going on using these right now. Oh man. All right, what are we gonna do tonight? Cleaning up a couple of things. First thing we're gonna do is the preservation spell. We're gonna get that working. There's one more thing that I need to do with it. So let's hop in the game. Let's see where it is right now and see what we're gonna be adding to it, functionality wise. Delete me. Open up my soda. Delicious, life-giving soda. There we go. So, this spell has evolved since the last stream. The last stream, I was able to only affect things in storage vessels. And the things that I could affect were just primitive pieces of meat. So, like, if it was cooked or anything, as long as it was an item that you could eat, like it, like an actual like item, preservation worked on it. I have since expanded that, so now it can also affect fired crocs, and it can also affect bowls that you put inside any of these storage vessels in the game now. All right, so we're gonna test this out. I'm gonna let all this stuff rot. So there we go. Look at that. 96% spoiled. We got 4 days of freshness on this and 3 days on this. Right? Let's cast the spell. So 4 days, 3 days, and the rest are like rotting. Boom! We got some particles going on here. And if we look, it reset every one of these items to their freshest state. These are back up to 5 days. And there are 3 different kinds of foods here. And then this went back up to 5 days as well. So, boom. So what we need to do now is, I want to put in logic because I want you to be able to do something like this. I want you to be able to cast that spell onto this. I don't think you can. Let me try it. I don't think you can. Hey, Gagny. Aren't bowls best on a shelf, though? I mean, it doesn't really matter since we're putting in magic, right? Like, you gotta think of it this way. It doesn't matter what they're best for. It matters how, like, what you have to do for the spell to affect it. Right now, I can look at containers. Let's let some time pass here. You very well could be right, though. It could be a lot better being on a shelf. But when your food starts to expire, you're going to want to be able to cast a spell on it. So 4.7 days and 3.7 days. I mean, let's see what it does. I had to let some time pass because they were just maxed out. Son of a bitch, it actually works. It actually works without... So the code that I put in was very robust. Does it work on a shelf? Now you got me thinking here, Gagny. Does this work on a shelf? I'm going to cast a spell one more time. One more time. The cool part about this spell is as long as the stuff in your crock does not turn to rot, you should be okay with casting this spell. There we go. So I skipped some time again. Oh, 3 days and 2 days. Perfect. Let's see what it does on a shelf. I don't know. Yeah, when I'm making this mod, I have to ignore what would be like beneficial, right? Like what the game would want you to do. because I gotta make some kind of logic work. So I mean, let's do shelf, right? So I'll put those here. So fresh for 2.4 days. Weird. So it's saying both of them are 2.4 days. Okay. 2.3 days. Let's try and cast this spell. Let's see. Let's see if we can revive this. Are bowls really best on a shelf? 5.5 days. So it increased. Well, see, it's saying for the onion stew. So this is just wrong. $5.5 days. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. This is like base game kind of logic stuff here. So fresh for 5.5 days. Bowl with meal. Yeah, it doesn't say. 5.4 days. So the important thing is the preservation spell works on shelves. It works if you just place the stuff on the ground. Ground storable, and it also works if you have food in any of the storage containers. You know what? I say that spell is done. Right? That spell is done. Preservation is fully working. Let's look at the particles. I am not crazy about those particles. Where is it? Preservation. Where are you? That's bind affinity. Are minimizing all this stuff. Here we go. Preservation. Yeah, so I only did like general area of effect stuff. Let me see what else we could do. You know, I got an idea. This dot generate. I want the bottom ring. Maybe. Let's look at generating rings. So I have a single reverse ring. Oh, I didn't make a reverse ring for... I think I didn't make one for the... Oh, I did. This has the Y offset. Okay. Okay. So maybe I can do something like this. I'll worry about the colors later. We'll give this first one an offset of 0.25 F or D. And I'll do another one at 75. I just want to see what this is going to do. You know what? We're gonna do another thing here. I will also put one of these at 5. And for this, I will not have it be a reverse ring. Give it a try. Give that a try again. Let's give it a try on like a block, right? What does it look like on this? The most annoying part about this spell is you have to start casting it before. Hold on. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. What if I just do this here? Have like 2 rings up top. You know what it is? It's the color. I don't like it because of the color. Let's do a rainbow color. Try rainbow. Or I could do conjuration particles. Let's see what rainbow does, and then I can try the conjuration particles. Well, that was a single ring, so why the heck did it not? Let's just do conjuration one. Let's make the reverse ring conjuration one. There we go. We'll try this again. What do we got here? No, it just turned the whole thing into conjuration. You know, the funny part is, I kind of like that. I kind of like that. I'm going to put a second ring here, and I'm just going to put it, like, right at half. Right at half. We'll see. I want it to swing a little faster. I want it to be fast enough to where it starts to catch up with the tail. Too fast. Too fast. That kind of means all of this. Let's try and do rainbow with this. We'll do rainbow and semi-transparent white. We got to think, does this feel like preservation? Okay. I don't think the white is needed. I think the conjuration, maybe it needs to be bigger. Maybe? Let me try this. I think I gotta change the time to live as well. That is more what I was looking for. Something thicker, something that's wrapping around. Although the interesting part is, it's gonna look different, right? When you're casting it on the ground or on things that are on the ground. Let's do this. Come on, man, that does look pretty darn good. You know what? Done. Don't have to do anything else. We got it. Nailed it. All right, preservation is done. Now, what I was going to clean up was I was going to look at the spells that I have down here and see what spells are feasible to put in. And we got a raid coming in. It's close. Hey, welcome in, raiders. Welcome in. I bet you were playing Vintage Story. Hold on. Oh my god. I'm so tired. I just put in exclamation raid. Oh my god. It's late for me. Oh my god, I just messed it up again. Yep, this is what's happening. And you guys have me behind the wheels here making a magic mod. I just want everyone to sleep a little better, knowing that it's in good hands. On the squad SMP server. Nice. Modded? Welcome in, everyone. We just finished with the preservation spell. So now what you can do is, yeah, I didn't cast in here. You can take food from crock pots. You can put bowls in. You can put in raw ingredients like these 21 days to go onions. Let's skip time a little bit. We got 4 days, 4 days, and 23 days. Good enough. So you can cast preservation now, and you can refresh all of your food. So let's pop on that spell. Bam. We're back to 33 days. We're back to 5 days, and this was 6 days, apparently. So, yeah. Hey, RC. Yay, raid. Came in of my own volition, though. Are you sure you... So the door was open, and you're like... So we finished the preservation spell. That's dope. Yeah, we got some cool spells. One of my favorite spells is the cleanse, the cleansing light spell. Here, let's put that on here. Oh wait, I already have it. Boop. Throwing valuable books. Here, let's pull up another admin tool. So I want to make more interactions with rifts. So we'll open up a couple rifts. There we go, right? So you got a bunch of rifts. You can put on this spell. You can go over to them, cast it, and this allows you to close rifts completely up. So I want to bring in an aspect of Thaumcraft with the idea of the taint. You know, that would, like, spread. It wouldn't be as aggressive as Thaumcraft. There would be no permanent spreading. But from rifts, I want them to become corrupt rifts. And you would have to close them to stop the spread of rot, which is going to be my taint. So, yeah, that taint was a cool idea, but, I mean, the fact that... I mean, you could be playing, right, or with the right settings and not notice that, you know, there was a taint, you know, that is something that you didn't close up, and all of a sudden, you know, after so much time, it's like creeping into your yard, and you're like, what the hell? Hey, Jake Shot 360, thank you for the follow. So this is going to be a different version of it. I'm going to have something valuable that you can harvest from it. You will have a way to use either the cleansing light spell or maybe just transmutation to get rid of the, you know, the actual taint that spreads on the ground. If you close the rift, you will also, like, the taint will disappear over time. Or as I will call it, rot. I want to cast preservation on this. I realize I'm not sure what it's going to look like on the shelf, but let's see. Yeah, that's fine. That's good. That's good. Whose taint you messing with? I don't know, RC. Have you looked down recently? How do those tacks feel in your chair? Alright, let's put some of this back down. Perfect. Boop. Alright, so we're gonna look through these spells and see what is feasible to put into the, So you made this? Yes, sir, I did. Yes, I did. Currently, we are at, I think it's 205 spells now. So we got a lot of spells coming in with this update. But I got these here, the unused work in progress ones. I think Blink is a spell that I definitely want to put in. I think out of all of these, Blink, Barrier, and or Shielding, it would be kind of the same thing, are the ones that I would like to put in. I think Blink is like number one. That is the next big spell that I want to work on, and that's going to be a labor of love. Like the calculations you have to do to make sure that you can teleport safely into the space without, like, glitching through the world or anything crazy, or killing yourself. I gotta put a lot of training wheels on that one. A lot of training wheels. But it should be fine. Eventually, we gotta get Polymorph working as well. I'll have to throw your mod on the server. We could test new changes for you on multiple player level. Yeah. This next update's a huge one. I would probably wait a couple of days to put it on. just because the new update's gonna make everything so much better. So much better. So let's move Blink. Blink should be a tier 4 spell, I'm thinking. Right? Should be tier 4. We're thinking. Noted will do. Yeah, the current version of the mod, it's still good. You know, not every spell works, but there's enough to where it is a fun magic mod. This, I'm rounding out tier 2. This update has the spell duplication system. It's going to have config options. One of them is going to be something that people are going to love. Like, a lot of people think the mod is too grindy. Because they're like, hey, you know, I survived my first year, or I no-life the game and I'm on Steel in a week and I'm still on tier 1. Like, this mod is meant to be an alternate path that you can take. Like, it doesn't have that much to do with progression. You know, but the end result is you literally get spells to revive things, right? To be able to fly, to be able to run super fast, you know, increase all of your stats, hit like a truck. I mean, I got corpse explosion and stuff, you know, like all these spells. And actually corpse explosion is one of my favorite spells. But, you know, you get all of these fun things. And the best part is, I'm building this out for, like, a role-playing kind of server, so with the spell duplication system, our mages can duplicate spells, give them to non-magic users, and they could use the spells for, like, a one-time, you know, like a one-time thing. You know, so, like, you can trade your spells, and you could actually live out being an archmage. And if you play in a server that has the magic mod, you don't have to learn magic. I'm going to be adding elementals and stuff in here, and if you don't have magic unlocked, they will just ignore you instead of aggro you. You know, so, and not only that, you get a higher drop rate when you're killing drifters for the crystallized memories that you could trade for, like, directly to casters, because it's legit just 5% experience upon using. Like, no matter what level you are, you get 5% per use. And because the person doesn't have magic, the drop rates are double what everyone else, like magic users, have, right? So you can get a hold of this rare item that mages would also want. I smell a merchant position. Yeah, right? Vinconomy would be a dope integration. Yeah. So, alright, so Blink. We are thinking... I'm thinking Blink should be tier 4. I think Blink should be... Should it be an enchantment spell, or should it be something like Conjuration? You know what? Blink should be Conjuration. Surface Ascent, I made that Conjuration, and Blink is just a horizontal version of it instead of a vertical. Done. Perfect. Let's stop the game for now, because we got some stuff to do. We are going to move Blink out of Limbo into the mod. Adjust the namespace, please and thank you. I'm going to use Surface Ascent as the baseline for this. I'm actually going to move the spell over here. So the first thing that we're going to have to do is create the spell itself. It's going to have a spell scroll, the spell cipher, the grimoire. It's going to have explanations on it. It's going to have to be registered in the global dictionary. So we're going to do all of that right now. And we got to create some variables for it as well. So I will just do a copy. There we go. I'll put it right at the end here. Oh, I forgot I put Bind Affinity in too. That's a fun spell. All right, so this is going to be Blink. And I'm going to paste all of this in. So Blink isn't going to have... It's going to have mana cost. It's going to have cast time. It is not going to have duration or damage. It will have stats, and I'll put the stat as 1.0. right? And then it's going to have a range. Now, I think, you know what? For now, I'm not going to set a range. You know what? Actually, I will set a range. And I will set the stat to, I'll set that to 0. I dream of a wizard duel. Some of the spells are cool. So, Tier 1 is done. Magic Tier 1. Tier 2 is... That's what we're working on now. The last thing I want to put in for Tier 2 after this update, the next thing will be the Bastion, which is going to be a way to accelerate your mana regeneration. And then Tier 2 is going to be completely done. And then I'm going to start working on Tier 3. For Tier 3, you will... To be able to become a Tier 3 mage, you have to attune to one of the elements. It could be any of the 8 elements in the game. But you'll gain bonuses for that. And then Tier 4, it's kind of going to be a... you'll be able to make, like, specialty equipment. You'll be able to make things like the gateway, which is going to be, like, point-to-point. Like, you could build a multi-block structure gateway, link it up with another gateway, and use essence and mana to have something to teleport directly from point to point. And you will also, I want to put in a familiar system, so you will have a combat pet of a certain theme that you will be able to summon. And upgrade. I want to make this thing upgradable. So those are what's coming. Plus whatever harebrained thing that I want to put in, just because. Alright, so I got the constants made, which means back here, I need to just put in a couple of the constants here, right? So I would want the mana cost, the cast time. You know what? Instead of stats, we're going to stick with range. And I'll leave it at 10 blocks. I'll leave it at 10. I may bump it down to 8. Because I think I will allow you to spam this. This spell may actually be the spell that forces me to put in a global cooldown on magic. Alright. So I think that's good. Oh, actually it's not. Let's put the spell name dot blink. I do not have blink in here. Let's fix this. So we got to go into the spell names. We're going to go into Tier 4. Since this is Tier 4 Conjuration, I will put it right after Duplicate. So blink, this will be Teleport. I don't want to say like so many blocks, like teleport forward to the target location. There we go. That will be what it's called, blink. I do have something in here. Teleport caster X blocks forward in the direction they are facing. I kind of like that more. Good job, Passive Ice. You got the job. Teleport forward in the direction, in the facing direction. I feel like it just got worse with the description, but I have time. I can come back to it. All right, so blink is going to be in here, which means I can now pull it out of here. There it is, and we'll do 2 string. Perfect. Let's save that. Now we're going to have to come down to, well, we got a lot to create here. Let's go under spell type. I need to find duplicate. Copy and paste. Let's move the blink spell over here because I'm going to have to copy and paste a couple things. Bam. So this right here, spell type should propagate to a handful of items. We do have to manually go in and tweak a couple things or else it's not going to come out right. So in item types, we need to go into spells, grimoire. This is the first thing. We need to find duplicate. I've got to create another entry here. This is going to be blink. Boop. And then that's literally all I have to do. So the grimoire is done. I spent time making this as efficient as possible because I know myself. I know I'm going to want to add more spells. Next thing we are working on is the spell cipher. So with this entry, the spell cipher should come in perfectly fine. The next thing I'm going to want is the tool. It's going to be the spell scroll. We're going to copy this, paste it in. Instead of duplicate, it will be blink. Here we go. We need to create a new icon for this spell as well. So for now, I'm going to copy and paste this. It's just agility for now. We are going to rename it Blink, and now I'm going to open it up because we got to make it look like something. So let's get rid of the center bit here. Oop. All right, so spell icon. What is this thing going to look like? Luckily, I have a handful of spell icons that we can kind of look at here, right? So, do I have a blink? I may already have one. I do have one. You know what? I'm not going to question past Vice. We will just go with this. Why not? So I got to do a couple things to this to make it look pixelated to kind of go with the rest of the theme. First thing I'm going to have to do is touch up the corners here. At least, yeah, all 4 corners we're going to have to do. I see some cheeky WoW icons. You'll see a lot of cheeky WoW icons. You will see a lot of them. Speaking of WoW, are you playing WoW? One of my coworkers has a Horde sticker on the side window of his car. Pretty awesome. All right, we're gonna do 50% because I'm looking for the pixelation. Now I'm gonna expand it again, so we're gonna resize this by 200%. And Ioted, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. We'll paste that in. Let's center it up a little bit. I'm gonna try and stretch it. There we go. Done. Nope, I don't like it. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. You know what? It'll probably be better if I do maybe something like this. No, wait. Not that. Let me make it like a light blue. All right, good enough. Icon done. Boom. Not actively. I played from like 2008 to 2018. Man, I started playing it in Burning Crusade because all my friends, we were all playing EverQuest and EverQuest 2, and then they all ditched me for WoW. So like the whole like initial WoW release, I'm like, I'm gonna play on my Shadow Knight. Why don't you guys come back? We can hit up Nectropolis Castle and level you up. But yeah, I'm side-eyeing it. The new expansion actually looks really good. I would be. I'm not sure if I want to be a Death Knight, a Rogue, or a Warlock though. Still figuring it out. All right, so we got the icon made. We should have the Grimoire, the Spell Cipher, and the Spell Tool done. Let's do the localization because that's going to be the next part of this. And there's going to be a couple duplication, a couple things that we need to put in here. So, oh, Prism of Duplication, that's not what I want. I want the spell Duplicate. Oops. There we go. So, Spell Synthesis, minimize that. We're going to create an entry for Blink. There it is. Let's scroll down. Now we need the actual Grimoire. Is it faster just to type it in? Maybe. There's Blink. Now we're going to need the spell scroll for it. Blink. Do-do-do-do-do. Might pick it up, not sure. Been in the alpha for ViesCraft, and their next phase is June 17th. Kind of just gearing up for that. How is ViesCraft? At first, like, I mean, we're talking years ago, right? Like, I saw ViesCraft and I'm like, that's so cool. And then I was looking at some recent stuff and I was like, ugh, you know, like, maybe there's a really good NDA because this is not a flattering look, you know? Like, how are you enjoying the game? Trying that Time Walk MOP thing that's open today, but skeptical. I saw that and I'm like, you know what? I didn't care for Miss of Pandaria. The best part about Miss of Pandaria for me was getting the shell, you know, from like going to that island up top there, getting that toy that was the red turtle shell equivalent. Because you could dismount players. Oh man, that was fun. Because the best part is, like, if you were PvPing and you dismounted them, like, as long as you were able to cast it, that shell would follow the person and would eventually dismount them. So a lot of people instinctively try and go up, right? You know, trying to screw around, but if you get them with the shell, it drops them to their death. And the best part is, like, even they get durability damage, right? Because they die through fall damage and not you know, taking them out. So that was hilarious. Ed stopped playing back in Shadowlands. Yeah, I picked up Shadowlands. Like, it was cool, but I don't know. I want to get back into it. The war bands and everything, it just seems like it's a better experience now. I don't have infinite time. I can't, like, nerd, sweat, rage, you know, anymore. I dare I say, have a life. Oh. Teleport forward. Perfect. Should I have flavor text? I don't think I should, because that's going to be kind of annoying. I remember the dismount shelving, right? Honestly, hated MOP. You know, like, Miss of Pandaria, like, I thought it was, like, cute, right? I like Kung Fu Panda, right? And I'm like, oh, they're making a Kung Fu Panda expansion. All right, let's see what it does, right? Let's see how it is. It was okay. Let's put it this way. I'm not playing the Miss of Pandaria, like, new thing they have. So, yeah. Take that as you will. Yeah, Warlords of Destruction. That one, yeah, that one was like, I felt like they were trying with the lore a little too hard. I just didn't care. No crypto lol. That's the big thing. The last alpha phase in April was good. Really enjoyed it, honestly. RuneScape meets Minecraft, honestly. I would have to see it be played. You know, because I'm oh, that combination, I guess, could be good, but I mean, how many Minecraft clones are we expected to stomach here? You know, like, what are you doing different? You know, like, there's Eco, there, you know, there's so many clones, and that's why I look at something like it. Honestly, it reminded me of kind of like Palia, from like what little I saw from it. Palia was a huge turnoff. Like, I gotta have some kind of combat and survival aspect. Give me a reason to, like, want to make a better weapon, right? And go look for resources and explore the world. They're adding a lot of guild-based features and reworking a lot of professions for June. Looking forward to it. I gotta look it up. Is it still in like an NDA? All right. What am I doing? I'm just running around now. Yeah, I'm talking about games. Let's see. So Blink. This is our new grimoire. This is the new spell scroll for it. If we go into ciphers and scroll down, so that's our new cipher for it. And it looks like we got all the ingredients. One thing you will notice, I did miss it, is the fact that there's no stats in the grimoire. So I forgot to register it in the global registry. So I just have to go down to Rustbound Magic. We need to scroll down to here. We'll find duplicate. Paste it in. Pop in Blink. Change this to Blink. Bam! This is going to propagate through my mod. We now have the spell Blink. Doesn't do anything, but we should be able to cast it. It should consume mana. Let's see, visually and functionally, it's practically RuneScape, but group build settlement cities that persists. They have really interesting server database system that basically a giant mesh server to allow everyone to be on as one. How many concurrent people can see each other though? I'm actually curious. Like, I'm always looking for a good game, but the scary part is you're saying it's like RuneScape. Is it going to be as grindy as RuneScape? There's a huge reason why I do not play RuneScape. April was the first public test. Okay, so there's probably more information on it then. Yes. Wait a minute. It is like RuneScape? It's grindy? Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. I'll wait. There's a delay. There's a delay. He's gonna be like, no, it's not like that. It's the good parts of RuneScape. You know, those fun-filled parts where you build friendships and, you know, the level system's very similar. Son of a biscuit, man. I don't know. I mean, do they do it better than RuneScape? Eesh, swing and a miss. All right, so we have Blink. It is a spell, just 100 base mana, cast time 6 seconds. So these are the stats that I had put in. Actually, it should be 12 seconds, but our staff is the Archmage Reaper staff right now, which gives us 50% spell haste. So that. that. Do you plan on adding particle effects to that preservation spell? I did. Oh, you're talking about... Well, yeah, I did. These are what the particles look like. That's what you get. Spell completion. That's all you get. Like ambient, or it changes the vessel in a way to identify what is spellcasted. No, you'll get just the particle ring, just like transmutation, right? Like you got your fanfare for a little bit, and then it goes away. There is another pass. So for the next update, I want to add the Bastion, and I want to go through the spells again. Like this first pass is about function, and starting to use the new particle system. And then the next part of that is going to be sounds. Maybe doing something more custom with shaders and particles mixed together. A good example of that is actually, let's see, it's Corpse Explosion. That one, it needs more work, but it is actually a really good representation here. So let's pull up let's make a little pen here. We'll oh, you know what? What am I doing? Let's just get a gate. Fence, I mean. Fence. Here we go. I'll kind of sardine all of these little ones together here. All right, we'll get a bunch of wolves. Bunch of wolves right here. Let's get the admin sword. There we go. Hey, I dropped an item. So corpse explosion. Here, wait. Let me do this. There we go. So with this, you will get a... Let me get the real spell. Hold on. Okay, let me socket this spell. I'm taking out preservation. There we go. Onto the bookshelf with you. There we go. Now I can be really far away. So with this, you're going to get the shader, and then you get particles. Too far away. Do I need to retweak this spell? We have to fix this. I never fixed the tier 2 version of the spell, did I? Or, oh, wait a minute. This is that stupid... There's a bug with it. So this one's going to work better. A heavy temporal storm. Not today, Satan. This one should work. When you kill an entity, its hitbox can be kind of wonky with a gate. There we go. Boom. Right, so you get the shaders there. You get the particles, the explosion, you hear it, right? That is more of a complete spell. You have a dome, right? You blew that thing up. And actually, with that spell, I killed all the other wolves that were around. You can also kill players with this spell as well. And you can kill yourself. If you do corpse explosion and you're too close, you will get hit by it. So, and if your friend's in there doing some melee and you're like, hold my beer, I got this, you will kill your friend too. Let's see, but how do you remember what has already been preserved? I'm not sure you know what the preservation spell does. It resets the time. It doesn't put it in stasis, it just, like, it resets the time of the food to its freshest state. So even if you have something that is 99% spoiled, a stack of 30 raw poultry, it resets it back to its fresh days, like the maximum fresh days it could have, and it gets rid of all the spoil. You gotta catch it before it rots, though. So that's how you'll know. You'll go in, you'll be like, oh, these things, like these berries have like an hour left. I cast a spell on it and they're back up to like 3 days. You know, for your croc, right? You know, like for this croc, how do I know the spell's been cast on it? I don't. I see it's 4.8 days, but let's do 1, 2, 3, 2.9, right? Time is ticking. 1.9 days, right? And I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, wow. A lot of time has passed, you know? You can even do this. Fresh for 2.3 hours. So let's socket the spell again. Let's get rid of Kindle. So cast the spell. Whoops. Cast the real spell. There we go. And it's gonna reset it. 2 hours. Bam, it's back to 10.2 days, which was the original amount based on the... Oh, I broke it. But you see, that seems quite OP, no? Compared to just making a vessel have lower spoilage rates when you enchant it with preservation. I know that's... Don't what your spell does, just providing ideas. Wait, I missed the second half of what you're saying. I don't think it's that OP because this thing is a mana hog. Like, right now, I'm tier 4. I have 310 mana, and I can do 2 casts of preservation before I'm pretty much Now, that gets offset quite a bit by having full actual mage armor on as well. So you will get more casts, but there's a hefty price, considering it's also tier 4. It's a tier 4 spell, so you would have had to ground out a lot to have the privilege of casting this spell. So I gotta make it good. I gotta make it good. Yeah, but mana's just time resource. It's just sitting down. Yes and no. It's sitting down, but you need the temporal stability to be able to meditate as well. That's the bottleneck right there. Like, if right now, I sit down, I can meditate. Oh. And what helmet do I have on? I actually have a magician's helmet on. Let me get rid of that here. Let me get rid of that. There we go. So this is plain Jane. So I'm gaining 1 mana point each tick. And I'm a rust mage, so I'm getting a big benefit of this. But eventually, when my temporal stability goes low enough, I can't meditate anymore. I can be in the state of meditation, but I will gain no more mana. And now I just put myself in danger. See, like, it's 0. I stopped at 112. But now I'm, good luck. If I was not in creative, drifters would be spawning on me right now. Yeah, my server disabled temporal stability. Well, it sounds like a server kind of thing. I'm building the mod around people having temporal stability. You should have rifts on, you should have temporal stability on, and you should have temporal storms. Because when it comes to, like, upgrading to tier 3, you are going to need to do certain things. Build a multi-block structure and wait for a temporal storm to hit to be able to upgrade to tier 3. You're going to need rifts to actually get rift blooms to be able to, really progress in the game. Like, rifts are going to become a bigger part of it. Do you have a meditation circle that can make meditating more efficient? That's what the Bastion is going to aim to do. I'm not sure how it's going to work yet. I don't know if you feed it a temporal gear and, like, it within the area, it will start to, it will have, like, so many ticks after eating a temporal gear to give mana back to players. I'm not sure what it looks like, but the idea is it will make it better to gain mana, but it's not, it's going to be something that you want to do. I also want to make that way, that system a way to make mana potions as well. But that's going to be more effort. So that's a thought. Blink. Blink is now in the game. We got to add it to the spreadsheet. And you know what? We can maybe start to play around with it. Get something basic. Before we put training wheels on, we got to build the bike, right? Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I'm trying to do with this, though, like, in the beginning, I made it to where there were certain ways you can get around, like, you can unlock magic and stuff and meditate without temporal stability active, but I kind of stopped that because I don't want to make multiple versions of the mod. You know what I mean? Because, like, each time I have to have a branching decision tree for, like, meditate, right? Do you have temporal stability? Do you not have it? If you have it enabled, then I got to check the player stuff. If not, then it's just a whole different way of doing it. How do you unlock magic? Well, if you don't have temporal stability, like, I don't want to do all that. Like, it's something in the base game. If you're playing with rust-bound magic, you need, rusty mechanics. And it just saves so much more, too, because now it's like I'm not getting things anymore where people are like, oh, I can't unlock magic. And it's like, well, why not? Like, it's one less question I have to ask. Like, do you have temporal stability on? Are you in a creative world? I just don't want to deal with that stuff, because again, I don't have that much free time. You know, all this is definitely a labor of love. I'm looking for my spreadsheet. That's what I'm looking for. I think I may try to make... I'm not sure how I'm going to make this spreadsheet available to everyone, but I would like to make this spreadsheet available to everyone. Alright, so right after duplicate, this is going to be blink. How much mana should this be? 100. We'll make it 100 mana. This is going to be a kind of a fast timer, too. I'll give it a 3-second cast. And I will zeroize all of that. There we go. And we don't have, like, anything really done for it. It's basically just registered. But a 3-second cast. Make it a 2-second cast. You know what? Let's make it a... Here we go. It's going to be a 4-second cast time initially, with the ability to get a grimoire that has a 2-second cast time, which is probably going to be the most sought-after version of this spell. Google Spreadsheets, I don't want people to see my real information, and I kind of don't want to make a Google account for, you know, that I'm opening up to people. You know what I mean? I've thought about this, like, how do I get this in? I don't know. I really got to think about it, because honestly, I put very little thought into it. You put it in anonymous mode, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't know how to do that though. That's the other part of it. I don't know how to do that. I'd have to look it up. But it would be nice to get this to everyone as well, because, you know, big thing is like, did I make a good spell? I don't know. Well, with this, you'll see your baseline, the best, you know, the minimum and maximum that it could be, you know, for your cast times and everything else. And I'm also going to be looking for feedback for people, too. Like, if something feels like the cast time is too long, too short, mana cost is too much, damage isn't enough, or it's too much, like, whatever it is, tell me so I can fix it. Now, obviously, it's going to be skewed, right? Like, if only a couple people are like, man, you know, 16 points of damage on a single spell that I can sprint and cast isn't enough, and you don't give me anything other than the fact that you want a spell to be so ridiculously OP'd that you could one-shot, like, a bear, like a polar bear, using its resistant magic, you know what I mean? To where that's half, like, obviously it's not going to be 64 points of damage, right? It can't be that broken. But, you know, make a good argument, right? Everyone wants these attributes to be lower, right? Everyone wants these lower. You gotta sell it to me. Tell me. But you're gonna have to, if it's an extreme, like Plunder, right? Plunder 4, or, you know what, Velocity, right? 225 mana is too much. It's like, well, you can get one for 112 mana, and if you have tier 4 armor on, which you should if you're casting spells, that becomes, what? Let's mark it down. That becomes like 56 or 57 mana, and you have a maximum mana pool of like 500. You know, like, I probably will point those things out and be like, so why should it be lower? Just a bear, small imagination, take down the Guardian, right? One shot the Guardian. I had to cast a spell twice on the Guardian to kill it. Can you make that spell hit hard? I want it to travel faster. And it should heal me for the damage that it does. Which I did want to do a Drain Life spell. I think it'd be cool to be able to put, like, channeling spells in. Alright, so let's save the spreadsheet. Boop. Alright, we got Blink. Let's make Blink actually do something blinky, because this is what we got so far. You can cast the spell. It's a Conjuration spell, so it's got Conjuration spell particles. And that's all it does. Nothing at all. but it is now a castable spell. So let's go into the spell. Where is Blink? Ah, here it is. I'm going to go into Surface Ascent first, and I'm going to copy all of the logic out, and we are going to put this in here. I also need to change another thing. I hate highlighting things sometimes. I just needed to change one of the names. This first bool is now if you're on a spell scroll, or if you're creating a spell scroll or not. Okay. So now we should have some basic particles. We have the teleportation part of it. Oh, man. So what's the first thing to do? Well, we're going to have to figure out your orientation and teleport forward. Let's make sure that things are firing right. We're going to have to quit the game. I'm going to have to rebuild, and then we will hop back in. Really think I'm going to have to put a global cooldown for magic. You got to wait like half a second before, in between like spell casts. Do you plan on adding your own bosses? Yes, I want to add your own bosses. I want you to be able to summon these bosses. I was hoping that we would get dimensions, like Minecraft dimensions, not this dimensional ribble-rabble that we have now. Like real, like, other worlds. Because I wanted to make it to where, like, I would teleport you into, like, another world that's prefabbed as, like, an arena. And then you would summon the monsters there so I can do, like, destructive things and make, like, boss phases and stuff. I think that would be really cool, right? You summon, like, you're a fire mage, right? Or you have to kill, like, the fire elemental boss. Ifrit, right? But I gotta rethink that. Alternate dimensions would be very cool. I'm surprised that it hasn't been done for the Rust really yet. And I don't know if it's going to be. Their version of it is like you losing temporal stability and you stay in the world and they consider that the other world. It does nothing but just makes creatures spawn on you and then it runs a shader effect. Like that's all it does. And it makes your entity like glitch, right? Like flash. I'm still holding out hope. I would have loved to make a magic world, right? Like another form of this, maybe like Twilight Forest or I don't know, something linked in with magic. But we don't have that. So we don't have that. Are you concerned with adding stuff that conflicts with the devs? Like you're adding that dimension, they eventually also do it? Well, I'm not adding that dimension. That's the thing. I can't do it because the game doesn't support multiple dimensions. So I can't add that at all. Yeah, current implementation of dimension is sad. It's not even... You know what the messed up part is? It should not have been called dimensions. Because it's so confusing. Minecraft was here first, I'm sorry. Their dimensions means the ether, right? The nether, the end, you know? Mods like Twilight Forest and, the mining worlds and stuff, those are dimensions, right? Alternate places you can teleport to. That's what those are. Not this weird, like, oh, I built a semi-multi-block platform that now kind of has physics. That is not a dimension. I'm sorry. Call that something else. New world with its own world gen rules, right? Yeah, it's a mini world within a world. No, it's not. It's not what a dimension is. All right, let's try the spell here. Hold on. Technically, this should be surface ascent. So let's ascend to the surface, right? Oh no, I can never get out. I'm in a spooky cave. So you would cast the spell, and... Oh, spell failed. You are too far away. Oh, wait a minute. Blink. I totally forgot this spell's not going to work because stats is 0. Let's put stats. Instead of stats, let's do range. And instead of stats here, we also need to put in range. I think that's it. Alright. Fireball it in. There we go. Let's cast the spell again. Boop. There we go. Right, so technically it teleported me from the big spooky cave above ground. Now what we need to do is I need to get your camera vectors, right? Your XYZ kind of like your look direction. And then do something with that. Something with that. Don't understand modding. Do you mind explaining in layman's why you couldn't? I'm interested in knowing why on the technicality. Well, let me know when you're back, Agni. Ad break, let me know when you're back. I also kind of wish there was more focus on weird temporal effects and base game stuff, but oh well. Yeah, I mean, the first thing you read in this game is that it is a eldritch horror type of game, and the only thing eldritch horror we have is rifts that people shut off, temporal stability, which basically is your character kind of going insane, and temporal storms, right? Which people shut off anyways, because it doesn't serve much of a purpose. We have drifters, and their big scary aspect to them is they throw stones at you, like the most mundane thing. They throw rocks at you. That's what is truly making them dangerous. They're crazy accuracy. There's your eldritch horror, you know. But we got like a freaking 100 pair of antlers for a deer. You know what I mean? Like. Probable answer, Vintage Story built in a custom game engine. That engine doesn't have anything to support transitions between different worlds. You actually got it right. Oh, you're back. Alright. So, when you're doing modding, right? Like, we are all modding this base game. So, unless you are just really good and should be making your own game anyways, you know, we all, first of all, you got to keep this in mind. We don't get paid for making mods at all. At least if I was doing a Minecraft mod from CurseForge, I could at least try and generate some ad revenue or something, right? To kind of offset the amount of time it takes to make this stuff happen, right? To do the ideas and the testing and the know-how to implement things. So your biggest restriction is most likely going to be time and expertise. Not everyone is a crazy, you know, 30-year veteran of the Java language or C#, right? Do it for a living and, you know, just eat, breathe, and sleep code. Like, us gamers like to play games too. Contrary to what you see on stream, because I'm always streaming mod development. The other big part of it's the fact that it's not our game, right? You can't really monetize a lot of things. And the game itself is going to have limitations. Good example of it right now is this. You look at that heads-up tooltip, and you cannot see how long that bowl of meat is going to last. You know, like that. But if I put a crock in there, right? If I had a crock like before, do I have any still? Here we go. Oh, it turned into rot, so that wasn't real anyways. It just didn't update. But I would be able to see how much time that thing has, but I can't see it with this. It's the base game. Like, we can only modify things so much before we start fixing the base game, and we're not making any money off this. You know what I mean? So when you talk about something like, well, why can't you just bring in a dimension? Because that would take us having to rebuild the whole like world data aspect, the whole world data aspect side of this that has terrain generation and your weather and, you know, like all of this stuff. You have to now rebuild it and save it in a way and be able to access it and parse it out. You are literally, you might as well make your own game. You know, like as a modder, we look for the tools, right? It's up to the person who is developing the game to give us these kind of hook-ins, right? Now there's some things we can do, right? Like shaders. It's a labor of love, but there is a shader system, and with enough poking and time sync, you can make things animated. You can do things with particles. You can make the little shader stuff. But for me personally, I have 5 mods. I'm not taking on another, you know, to try to do something that I know I probably don't have the expertise to do. Yeah, so yeah, when people make a new dimension in Minecraft, the API for that is already in. Minecraft itself saves the world data in a way to where you can have multiple world saves. It just spools off another folder. That was the whole Anvil format, right? That's just like, well, why can't I paste outside of the mesh grid in the world? Well, you can make a mod for it, right, and expand it. But at that point, it's like buying a new car and being like, you know what? I'm going to gut the frame and the engine, and I'm going to rebuild it, and I don't work on engines. Yeah, dim 1, 2, 3, yeah. Basically, if I want to create a new world in Minecraft, I pick my dimension. I pick the world generation settings, which I can look at the other dimensions, like the end, the rift, and pipe in my stuff, and then bam, like with relative ease, I can make my own world. We don't have those kind of hook-ins right now, so you would have to make those hook-ins. And guess what? Every time there's ever a crash and it's within your world that it's in, even if someone else's mod like corrupted some or did something, right? Like some kind of crash, they're going to come to you because since they installed your mod and it's happening while they're in this other world, ain't nobody got time for that, man. So that's really what it comes down to. Honestly, even Magic, like I had to put in a lot to be able to get a cast bar, to have particles spawn, right? To be able to have like a spell dictionary. Like I had to custom make all that stuff. There wasn't anything in game where it's like, oh, spells here. Here's a mana system for you. Go here. You know, you gotta make all that stuff, and all that stuff's a lot easier than trying to rebuild the game to make a dimension. You know, it's just like oceans, right? Like, and there's some things that I'm still learning. Like, you know, people talk about biomes. Technically, like there isn't actual like biomes the way we would think of it in Minecraft. Like Minecraft, like it literally is a subsection called a biome, and this is how it generates. With this stuff, it's like it's just a different way of noise generation, basically. Like if I'm over here, you know, like this technically isn't a biome. This just happens to be where it's spawning some water. You know what I mean? Like it's a different approach to look at it. But yeah, no problem. Yeah, trust me, I would love to have dimensions. I would love to add some things. But no one's standing up to bat right now to try and make that a possibility. You know what I mean? And I mean, honestly, for me too, it is a huge, like, this mod is a pretty big time sink. But I'm having fun with it, but it takes a lot of time. So this spell works, right? This spell works. I'm not going to teleport anywhere because I'm already at the top. Yeah, so you are not underground. So let's try and focus on this part here. I'm going to have to... I'm going to create some empty space here. I need to try and get into, like, the player... camera position? The camera position of the player's view, set only by the game client. Oof. So wait a minute, I know what this is. This is not what I think it is. I don't think this is it. I think what camera position is, it's literally like where your eye level is and where your camera is positioned in your avatar, right? Your entity. When you get tier 4 out of alpha, you can sit back and play for a day or two. Yeah, and see, the other aspect of that is, yeah, when I get that out, I mean, people are gonna be wanting, like, you know, bug fixes and stuff too. But your work is never fully done. Never fully done. How do I want to do this? So I need to somehow get your view vector. Let's look at player again. Block selection. Maybe it's something with selection. So we got selection box, entity selection, original selection box. So it's none of these. You know what? I think we need to look at client side specific. Or maybe it's going to be server side specifically. Either way, I don't think I can get to it through entity player. So let me... I already have this logic done in here. We scroll a little further down. So right in here, this is kind of what I'm looking for. I'm going to copy this. We're going to pop this in as a reference. Make some more space, paste. So this right here, this first part, we're going to get rid of the return. And actually, I'm going to get rid of this player fired event. I don't need that. I'm going to create a new variable. I will call this C player equals... Oh, I can't do this because, okay, I'm casting this as something else. That's not what I want to do. Let's start with the server. Let's start with the server. Let's see what we have available. IS player dot. So we got broadcasting positions. Wow, clear spawn position. Yeeh. Okay, so we have a current block selection, chunk sent radius, the entity selection. Ideally, you would be looking at nothing. Like, I don't care what you are targeting. I want to get those view vectors, though. Inventory management's not going to be it. Player name, player privileges, role. Send position to client. Tells the server, send a position packet to the client. Nope. Set spawn position. World data. So, I doubt it's anything in world data. Yeah, I could just get entity player, but this is like your statistics, right? Your mode, your death, pick range. So I don't think it's in here. Now let's do iClient. Player. And let's do... Let's do this. IS player. Now what do we have available in the client? Here we go. Camera pitch, camera mode, camera roll, y'all. That's the currently selected things again. Okay, entity, something else. Seems like there's only one guy who's actually writing vintage story code. Again, not a guy who knows a single thing about coding. But do you have a perspective on how Minecraft has such slow updates with little content, such a massive budget team? What do you think holds them back, and compare that with Vintage Story? Well, I'm not sure what you're getting at here. It could also be the fact that it's kind of late for me. But you are talking about something like Microsoft. First of all, Minecraft was a hit in itself, so a lot of people are still playing it for the sake of it still being Minecraft, right? Like, I know I started playing back when beds were first put in the game. So, and I mean, I can go to any Walmart, any store, and, you know, people are buying the tchotchke crap for these. They've succeeded. A game like this, yeah, it is a smaller budget team, but I would expect a team like this to prioritize some things. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, if you're going to be and this is my opinion, if you are going to say in your first sentence that this is an eldritch horror type game, then you need to have those elements in the game. That way it is that, right? Like that's the idea that you sold us when we bought the game. You know what I mean? Like let's go to the site right here. Minecraft knows what it's trying to be, right? They know what they are. And the modding community is already established, right? Because that's the other part of it. I can't play vanilla Minecraft. I'd rather shove bamboo up my fingernails. You know? There we go. This is the main site, right? Main Vintage Story site. It's an uncompromising... Wrong. You know? Strike one. Wilderness Survival Sandbox. I will give that to them. I like a lot of the aspects here. I like the smelting. It does feel like an already modded version of Minecraft, right? Being able to pour your metals and make your molds, and, you know, the seasons. Like, I love having the seasons. Inspired by eldritch horror themes. Where? The fact that you see a human in a prefab, you know, little heart. Is it the drifters that we had since, like, the game came out? You know what I mean? Like, what is the, you know, is it the fact that everything's like Mad Max and like a broken junk graveyard? I understand finding ruins, but come on, man. I shouldn't have like 12 different kinds of globes and only one of them is a complete globe that I could potentially place down. You know what I mean? Like, let's go into creatures. What do you see a lot of in here? Tell me what you see a lot of here. Because I could tell you it's butterflies. The things that still get stuck in water. How many actual, like, eldritch creatures do we have? Like, how, you know... You know how many pairs of antlers fall off all of these deers? We have enough four-legged animals, right? Like... This is the difference here, you know? When you make it big, you can trickle out an update and be like, we put in an axolotl, or, you know, something like that, and everyone's going to just fawn over it. Corrupted saw blade locusts. Locusts are machines. You know, like, sure, there you go, there's one more thing, a locust. But it's a machine. Kind of easy to kill, too. As a clockmaker with spears, yeah, right, that's the closest thing to a horror. I mean, like, the drifters are a joke. Like, they're not a joke when they're throwing rocks at you. Like, you couldn't even make it a ball of rot or something, right? You had to make it a rock. The thing that as soon as you get in the world, you grab a bunch of rocks, because that's how I attack when I first go in, is I grab a stack of rocks and I say, come at me, wolves. Where's the water, the closest water, so I can kite this thing and stone it to death? You know what I mean? That's the difference there. Can you even do anything with butterflies? With a mod, you can capture them and put them on display. I think if you capture all of them, you can get like a pin, a butterfly pin to put on. But, you know, I'm not all about those butterfly updates, you know? I'm not a hunter. I don't care about deer. And honestly, when I saw the first picture of it, I couldn't tell a lot of those animals apart. They all look like deer to me. Apparently, one of them was a moose, one, you know, and they're all kind of close together. I'm like, they're all four-legged creatures that you would hunt, right? Creatures of prey. I don't know, man. Like, can you give me a little bit more, please? Can I have a little bit more? I've been waiting patiently for quite a few updates. Right. The rocks don't even hurt as bad as their melee. Their rocks decimate me, man. Their melee doesn't. Their melee's easy to, like, sprint in and out of. Those rocks, you can't avoid. You gotta literally, like, you would line of sight them right in their mid-throw, and it's like it takes a snapshot of time. They're 90% done with their throw. And as soon as you peek around the corner, bam! Rock right in the face immediately. Can't move, can't dodge it, like, you're just done. Right? And when you're already low on health, that's a death sentence right there. Too accurate. You hear a grumble, find a place to deflect rocks with, and throw your spear. You hear a shriek of metal. You take stock of armor and spears and decide to fight or retreat. Ladders are your friends. Rope ladders especially, right? Yeah. Not to be disrespectful, more of a curiosity. But could the dev not say, take that butterfly display mod and put it... Well, yeah, they could. Yeah, it's not necessarily legal. It's a dick move to do something like that. I mean, Minecraft kind of did that, right? We had horses through a mod first, and then all of a sudden an update came about, and they're like, guess what? We now have horses in the game, you know? It's like, oh, okay. That sucks for that modder. But, yeah, I mean, when you do things like that, yeah, you're gonna probably earn ill will in your modding community. I mean, because first of all, you're leveraging the fact that you have people working for you for free, pretty much. Like, it's not like these are on Curse Forge, right? Like, we don't get anything for this besides a mod that we would want to play. So why would you want to sabotage that by being like, you know what, I want Magic base game now. Like, I'm gonna rip off and put in, you know, the Rustbound Magic mod. I mean, they've added butterflies. You never know, they could, right? Like, I feel like resources have been spent in poorer ways, but I don't think you'd intentionally poison your modding community. Especially when, you know, the game, like, more and more people are coming over to this. You know, we're getting more and more unique mods every day. Pretty cool. But, you know, again, it would be a dick move. It's not like the police are going to be kicking down the door. You ripped off that modder. You got to come in. Line of questioning. You're going to have to pay a huge fine. It's nothing like that, man. Yeah, Minecraft actually made the stuff themselves. I'm saying straight up ripped from the mod itself. I mean, we all put this stuff out as, you know, what are we going to do, right? What power do we have? Next example I've seen of a dev taking modders' content improving to improve was Ark and the dev for Structures Plus. They hired him as a team member for Ark Ascended. Structures are not only amazing, but far less laggy. Yeah, right? I mean, that's the right way to do it. Like, hire the man, right? Or lady, whoever they are. Hire that person. Get them in, because they got the expertise, you know? That's pretty cool, though. Good on them. Good on them doing that. I bet that guy was, like, super happy, right? That's like winning the lotto, right? Dream come true. We all want to be mod developers at heart. You know, and get paid for it, right? Have it be a job. Immersive first-person mode. I realize I never looked through all this stuff. see, I'm not seeing what I would expect to see. I wonder if I can do something. Let's take a look at what current block selection actually does. I want to see how it's calculating this map. Boop. Loaded it up. Block selection, right? Let's go ahead and we're gonna analyze this. Block selection creates a basic selection from limited data. So we got a position, we got a facing, and we got a block. All right, so let's go in here then. We have a hit position. The coordinates of the exact aimed position relative to block position. So we got a new vector 3. We offset normal D, scale of 0.5. None of that makes sense yet. Block selection clone. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing anything in here yet. Actually, here, get the core index. Turn face and local voxel position. No, I don't like that either. Selection phase. So really all of this literally is block selection. I don't think anything in here is what I want. Entity selection is probably going to be the same thing. Let's take a quick look though. Oh, you know what? Let's keep tunneling down here. So we got entity, block entity API, callers, block facing, block position. Yeah, I don't think I want any of this. Let's just let's remove it. See what this is. What is hit position? Entity selection hit position. Can I... Entity selection. Is there another type of selection? We have entity selection, block selection. Best example I've seen... Oh, here we go. Yeah. Yeah, even if it's not the case, being able to hire them, commission them, pay them officially to integrate the core content of their mod into the base game. Then they can continue modding past their commission, but their API and core functionality is built in. Yeah, that's another way to do it for sure. There have been quite a few little bits of functionality added in, usually stuff people volunteer to them. Yep. I mean, maybe new entity selection, and I'm just pumping things in from here. This is not what I want. Let's try to look specifically at like main. See, the problem is, I think, is there anything in this game? I know in Minecraft it was raycast. Okay, so there's no kind of raycast at all. I think what I want to look at is things in, like, client. So a lot of this stuff is hotkeys, screen managers. Not exactly what I was thinking of here. Okay, what if I try and look at something else? Let's go back into Blink. Let me look at I'll do player.api. Let's look at the API here and see what we have available. So nothing really there. So let me do iClient for API test. Is it iCore client? I think it's iCore client. Damn it. There we go. Or what do we have available through here? So input, maybe. We have things like, is the game paused? Is single player fired ready? We got a bunch of registry stuff. Render? I had to guess, render would be a pretty good place to, like, look at. That or maybe world. Let's look at render. Look at this here. Okay, so we got some camera stuff going on. Camera type. Current actor shader. Current projection matrix. A lot of GL stuff. OpenGL stuff. Perspective view. Perception effects. It's not perception effects, I know that. I'm using perception effect. Do they have line of sight? Oh, this is why it's familiar to me. Let's look at one of my other mods. I think I have dabbled into this. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to pull up my Eldritch Monsters mod. So I got tired of creatures being able to, like, drifters and stuff, being able to see you through, like, solid walls, and they could just smell you. They know where you are. I made sure to put in a line of sight thing, so my monsters will only aggro you if they have direct line of sight to see you. Unless you hit them, of course, in which case, you know, you kind of deserve it. So let's go into entity behavior. No, that's not it. It's AI tasks. Look at enemy aggro. This is it. I did this. Yeah, is the entity targetable? So we have, if it's targetable, entity received source damage. Yeah, I'm just rearranging the tasks here. So this right here for the damage type. I think I do remember this. I put hunger in there because as I was typing this up, I think I was hungry. I remember I had some kind of snack and I was hungry, so for the damage type, I put hunger in there. I should have put, like, unknown or something else, but I remember doing that. Oh, man. Is it in, like, the partition utility? Was this it? thought there was somewhere. I remember looking at it and being like, oh, that's like the Minecraft Raycast or something close to it. Okay, so nearest entity. When pushing out a radius. Oh, then we're walking the radius. That's not it. This is not it. Yeah, so it's not going to be in this mod. So the way I did my line of sight is I did a check between the entity's position and your position. And then I did it direct to those two positions. And then if it's if you can see it, right? Is that how I did it? Let's open that back up. Because yeah, there would have to be an aspect of seeing here. We'll pull it back up. Oh my god. Can you just start, please? Thank you. Take it forever. Okay, so it's right down here, right? So if the entity is not targetable, which targetable is this, so I get the AI task. I don't remember this. I don't think this is how I'm doing it. There's something else, right? Look a little closer here. Problem is, I did this so long ago. Is target entity. First letters. Can sense. Can sense player. Which is right here. So see, it's really just seek animal, or seek the animal range. It takes that attribute. And then I do well, the base game, right? The way this is the way aggro normally is. Has direct contact. Cuboid selection box. For X, Y, and Z. Shortest distance from. Okay, I feel like we're getting closer. Ray trace from. Oh, what are you? This could be it. Could be it. Vector 3. It's a read-only Vector 3D. You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. So I am right. I am right. I'm taking your position. I'm taking the creature's position. Entity world. Ray trace force selection. This is what I want. Okay. Kind of. It's close to what I want. I need a to and from still. And then I would need a reference to the block selection, a reference to an entity selection. And then I could put on an entity filter. So let's try... Okay, let's minimize this. Let's do player.world ray trace from selection. I need to put in. Let's see what versions of this we have available. We have a couple. So this one right here shoots out a virtual ray at in between given positions and stops when the ray hits a block or entity selection block. The block entity it struck first is then returned by reference. Yeah, we have a potential. We have something to latch onto. I don't think this is what I want, though. what I would like to do is use your camera angle. Say, okay, distance of 10 meters, right? 10 meters from where you are in the direction you're pointing, put a little dot there, and then I want to start doing my calculations based on that. I want to see, is that empty space? You know, if it's not empty space, pull it back to the next block. Is that empty space, right? And then you keep going down until you find empty space, and then you start looking to see if it's hollow enough. Like, is there space above you? No. Is there space below you? No. Is there space to the left or right? You know what I mean? To see if you could safely teleport. And then I would have to take that and cast it as an int, so it goes to, because what you're going to be converting is from a vector 3D to, you know, an XYZ int kind of coordinate. You know, that way it lines up in the block grid. I don't care really about, like, this right here, I can't really use ray tracing for blink unless I'm going to make it to where you cannot blink through walls. I guess that's the first decision. Should you be able to blink through solid walls? As in this cart right here. Should I be able to kind of stand a little further back, cast blink, and then be able to teleport through there because there's empty space and end up inside of here? Or should you look at a wall, cast blink, and then just teleport to the closest thing and then drop down? That's the first question. How should blink work? Because those are two completely different paths. If you're not going to be teleporting into a space, then I can use ray tracing. I think to target is better. So the second way, like just the rate cast. So if I'm like this, right, and I cast the spell, instead of going 10 feet, I would go right up to this block here and then fall. Not teleport to where I go like there's empty space and I can go inside through a wall. Like which one do you mean? Side question, do you have a portal gun spell? No, I don't. I do not have a portal gun kind of spell. The closest thing is going to be the summon portal spell, which is going to be something you walk into and it teleports you back to your bound point. I will also have like a Hearthstone kind of thing. So yeah, those are what I have. But no, I don't have anything like a portal gun. I kind of, like, I've thought about it once, like, someone else had brought it up, and I'm like, the amount of annoyance that's going to come from making that kind of spell, like, I wasn't really excited about that kind of spell to begin with. Because the more complex you make something like that, the more you gotta, like, troubleshoot it. And I'm at 205 spells now. I like to feel the sun on my skin. I like to play video games. Who's gonna play World of Warcraft if I'm not there? Right? But that has come up, Gagny. That has come up. It's just, think about the logistics of that in a block-based game. I would need you to somehow cast a spell. Like, I would need to save data on, like, you cast a spell, right? And you make a portal. That's gonna have to be either an entity or a block entity, depending, right? I'm gonna have a bunch of shaders. I'm going to have to somehow register that to you as a player. So I'm going to have to save probably the X, Y, and Z coordinate as close as I can for that entity, or align it to the grid, you know, the block position grid. That way, when you cast the follow-up spell, it would put down a secondary one, but then how do you erase those kind of portals? Like, when one erases, should the other? And now you gotta quote unquote teleport through them in a game where the walls can change. Like, so if you shoot this thing and it sticks on a wall, how am I going to calculate all of that to where you step into the one portal and pop up over here without falling through the world and getting stuck and suffocate? Because you had a block too high. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of data that I'm saving and that I'm doing for a spell. I have thought, and as you can tell, I have thought about it, and I've been through this reasoning. It becomes, and then when the spell is cast, right? How do you know that's your portal, right? Like at that point, does it matter? Like, can they just link off of each other? But then if you do that, you got to build a system that can handle that type of linkage. Woof, woof. Which spell has the most data in your mod? No idea. No idea at all. I can tell you this much, my spells do not, they're not creating blocks and linking blocks in between each other for teleportation purposes. Yeah, maybe regeneration. Maybe regeneration. That or summon light. No, I think regeneration, because that uses secondary shaders. So this spell. So you shoot it, and then bam. So as you stand in this, you get healed. Also heals enemies. And the only reason why it has a lot is because it's basically, it shoots a projectile, so it has that system. And then it turns that entity projectile into a secondary bubble entity projectile, which has a custom shader on it, which then also does the healing every tick, every 1 second interval for so many seconds, and then it self-terminates all processes. But that's going to be not as much as a portal spell, like the portal gun kind of spell, unfortunately. So you're thinking, oh, so you're okay then with the raycast route for Blink. I remember in Ars Magica, I thought it was really cool that the Blink spell would teleport you through a wall, right, into like your house, or maybe somewhere where you're not supposed to go. I used to create cavities in random parts of my base that were sealed up, that were my special storage things, and I knew where to step, and then at what angle to look at, and then cast the spell, right? And then I would teleport through the floor to my special area. I thought that was cool, but I mean, Blink, it really could be. Now, see, the problem with that is for raycast. If it's a field like this, technically you would have collision with grass. So I don't know how that is going to work. Because the raycast would go until it hits, you know, until it hits like a grass block, or where's the double grass, right? All grass, is that what it's called? Yeah, like this. Maybe not. It's not what I thought it was. What's the, Oh, what am I thinking? What am I thinking of? Oh, that means you would also collide with, like, leaves that you could walk through as well. You know what I'm talking about, right? Is it, wait, is it like, maybe it was like cattails. One of these is like, here we go, this is a full block, right? So if you do something like this and you cast Blink, you would technically teleport just to here, instead of going, like, you know, past it with the raycast like that. Unless there is a way, and let's look here, if there is a way that I can... I mean, I guess I could put a block filter in. I may be able to put a filter in that ignores blocks that have no collision. They could have a block selection, but they can't have collision. Which means that I would probably have to make a static list. Or if there's a way that I can get the collision box. Maybe. Like if it comes up as null. Alright, so you know what? Just for the sake of doing something, let's put this in. Return false to ignore. So my question is for block selection. What is this world entity supplier? It's a virtual array at a given position and stops when the ray hits a block or entity intersection box supplied by given suppliers. The block entity is struck first, is then returned by reference. So I don't know what this supplier is. This one's more complex. Float, pitch, yaw, range. Ooh. Range. Ray. Huh. Shoots out a ray and stops when it hits. So this is like another way of doing it? I think this is the way. This right here, range, is going to be the big thing. Let's try it. Blink. Pop it right in. Alright, so from position is going to be player dot... I'll do sided position. The next thing is going to be pitch. That's going to be player dot block pitch. The pitch the player currently wants to move to. Only relevant while swimming. Maybe it is walk pitch. Y'all, so let's do player. I think it's... let's do walk y'all as well. Range, this is going to be a float, so let's just do the classic 10F, right? Now these parts. Entity selection. Entity selection is a type, but is used as a variable. Something like phase walk could send you X blocks. And if you phase into solid blocks, your dig bruh. In D&D, the ability to teleport to unknown spaces comes with a warning. I'm fully down for those consequences. Can you exclude walkable blocks? Well, I don't know if it's really walkable. It's going to be if it has collision or not, a collision block. I could do something where if it hit a... well, see, that's the thing. I don't know if this is raycasting and hitting a selection box or a collision box. I'm not sure on that, unfortunately. This is going to take a little finesse. And I need to see ray trace for selection. This right here, let's see how it's used in code. This is the one that I specifically want. Let's analyze it and see what it does. Used by. Used by nothing. Are you kidding me with yourself right now? Used by nothing. Jesus Christ, man. Are you kidding me? Any of these ray traces? We gotta be using one of them, right? We gotta be using them. Analyze. What about you? Used by no one. Alright. What about you? Used by... no. What about this one? I know we're using it. So for this version, reference block select. You know what? I may actually have to put these in as variables. I think I know what it's trying to do. Let's make a little more space. Make a little more space. I'm going to make these local variables. Oh, I already have some here. Okay, so block select 1. There we go. I'm going to copy this, and we're going to paste that in there. I'm going to copy this. Paste that in there. I need to have new block filters as well. So let's make a couple more variables here. It's not what I wanted to do. Thank you. Test BF equals new block filter. Is the player camera pitch available? Well, I'm doing a walk pitch, which is used in swimming. It says only relevant while swimming. I think that's going to... I'm giving it a try. I'm not sure if it's what I need, but yeah, pitch is available. Pitch and yaw. And then hopefully this distance is actually what I think the distance is. Maybe. Alright, so new block filter, block position, and block, right? So... I gotta see how block filter is being used. Vintage Story Math Tools. Oh, God. This is it. This is it. Please let there be something. Exposed by. Okay, okay. Get selected block. Alright, alright. Player area selection. Give me a block filter here. I mean, is this how it's supposed to be? What if I use this as a foundation? So it would be something like this, right? So I'm getting a position and a block, and then I say block render pass does not equal meta. What is meta? Special render pass. I don't think I want anything beyond this point. So can I do something like block? It would be collision box. Defines the area in which the player character collides with. So if that does not equal null. So if it doesn't have a collision box, then it's going to be added to the filter? No idea. I'm literally trying to bend over and pull something out here. We will have to do a similar thing for the entity filter as well. So let's put in entity filter. This would be EF. Getting tired. 10:39. No wonder why. Late. All right, what do we got here? Hopefully something good. Exposed by. Please expose yourself. Thank you. See, we got Ray. What are you? Get picking Ray. Are you, huh? Position. So if I say get picking Ray, what does Ray have in it? Oh, origin and direction. That's what we got. I don't know. I could keep this in mind. Maybe there's something good with Ray. Let me look at entity selection here. Reteach myself. I could be doing this wrong. There's a very real chance that I'm doing this wrong. I may be able to do something literally like this. May be able to literally do something like this. Although I have to assign the local variable. Let's just bring this over here. I think these would be better off as global variables here. So let's just paste them in. Block select 1, block select 1. Means I can get rid of these. Oh wait, I was doing the filters. This should be fine. But either way, we'll just make them global variables, right? You know, I can't. Never mind. I got it confused with the block selection. So I think I'm doing it right. If I had to guess, it would be block position, and then this would be entity. And then over here, this would be, well, I guess it would technically be block. Use vintage story entities instead of block. I'd have to type in entity here. It does not take 2 arguments. How many arguments does this take? 1. It's just entity. Okay, no block position. So this would be what it is. Entity doesn't have collision boxes. I would say, this is nullable. I don't want, or I would want a filter list. If entity is... if entity is entity, right? So if it's any kind of entity, let's just add it to the filter list. And again, I don't know if this filter list means that it's stuff that it's going to collide with. So maybe I just made it to where I'm going to collide into any entity I'm teleporting into. I don't know. We're about to find out. So for this, that's going to be test EF. Hey, why is this upset? Oh, sighted position dot. I need to do, what is it, X, Y, and Z. Does it want to float? No, vector 3D, so we're good there. Okay, so technically this is going to shoot out a raycast. No freaking idea. No idea what it's going to do. We'll do RMR references dot logger. I'm going to say raycast equals, Jesus, man. I mean, do you put like a dot? Should this be a variable or something? Like, can I pull something more out of this? Or is this literally shoots out a virtual ray, give an angle, and stops when the ray hits a block or entity position. The block/entity is struck first, is then returned by reference. I still don't know how it's trying to do it. Got carried away. Did we learn anything? We learned that all the red squiggles are done here. I have no idea how to access this, right? Trace ray, or ray trace for selection. How does it return a selection? Right? Like how is it returning a selection? I mean, is this a bool? Can I literally paste it right here? This is not a bool. This is a void. Hey, okay, I thought so. This is a void. Do I do blocks? So what happens? What happens if it ends up being air, an air block? I guess technically it would still be a block, right? Let's just do, you know what? Let's do block cell 1, block select 1. We'll just say raycast block select 1, and then it will just do, you know, the rest of surface ascent. Let's give it a try. Raycast equals 0. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing at all. Oh, you know what? Let's shut down the game. I created variables outside of a method. Things are probably very unhappy. Mystery variables, you know it. Can you print the XYZ of the result to see if it worked? Well, what is the result? This right here is a void that's running through world. I'm not sure, like, it's not capturable right now as an entity, you know, or as a you know, like an entity or any kind of vector 3D or anything. That's part of the problem. I guess I could try and make it a local variable and see what it wants to autocorrect for. Raycast nothing, so I can't pipe anything through here. What if I just do test 1 equals local property? It's trying to do it as an object. This isn't, I don't, yeah, it's not going to be happy because this is a void. Stops when the ray trace hits a block or entity selection box. This spell is going to be something else. Something else, let me tell you. So this is perfectly fine like this. What about test EF? Is this going to have anything? Divide by not implode the world, right? Can't divide by 0. Oh, that's just a generic entity filter. Shit. I don't know how to use this. It's out of virtual array at a given position and angle and stops when the ray hits the selection box. The block/entity it struck first is then returned by reference. How? In what form? What's the variable I can pull out? What am I missing here? Game main. Do you have something for me? Okay, how are you doing it? This ray trace, right? So, okay, void, ray trace, position. So I get the position with my eyes. I ray trace from my eyes using the player's sighted position pitch, their yaw, world data pick range, and then the block selection, entity selection, and then I got 2 filters here. Okay. What is this one? So I am creating a ray, but it's still a void. Ray trace for selection. So this ray, I mean, okay, so do I have to create my own ray and put that in? Get picking ray. So what if I do game main dot get pick ray? Okay, so I could do something like this. Get pick ray. From position would be my sighted position. Technically, I would want to do this. The entity position XYZ add player entity local eye position. I would want the ray trace to be from your perspective. And so this would go in here. So I would do player dot position, player dot local eye position. And then for pitch, I mean, screw it, right? It would be the same thing. Entity sighted position y'all, sighted position pitch. I hate when I do that. I go to click on the window and I hate when I do that. Copy. Paste, right? So let's get rid of that to format it correctly. Format that, and then this would have to be player dot entity player. I'm just gonna put 10 in here for the pick range. I'm not sure if it wants an int or what it wants. It wants a float. Alright, 10F. There you go. Object reference is required for the non-static field method Oh, wait a minute. Oh wait, no, it should be all right. All right, you know what? Before I go too deep into this, we'll do ray dot. What can I see here? Limit to walls. Dude, that's pretty cool. All right, so we got an XYZ and then a minimum XYZ, maximum XYZ. Length. I don't know if that is the distance. We got an origin, we got the direction, right? Okay, that's literally all we got. I want destination, right? Origin, I want destination. Are you aiming more than 10 feet out? Well, I want to limit it, right? The raycast shouldn't just keep going into the sky until, you know, like it's got to age out somehow. And I want to get that point in which it ages out, right? I want to get the X, Y, and Z of where it collides with the solid block. I want it to pass through entities. Worst case scenario, it hits a solid block, in which case I get that XYZ position to teleport to. Or I get the, you know, it goes 10 feet or 10 blocks out, and then I stop the raycast and I get that position 10 blocks out. But I need to be able to get that XYZ coordinate. I don't know how to get it from this. Or even this, because I think this is a... Go up here. That's a void, so I'm right back into the void hole. That's not it. What is that? Why it's saying no result? If you're aiming more... Well, there technically should be a result. And it's not saying no result. It's not saying null or anything. It's just no data at all. Technically, just because you can't see it, that's still... This is a grid. Empty space is an air block. Its ID is 0. I'm not getting any of that information. If I come down here, see, the problem is I'm not going to get anything here either. Oh, it still has the filter here, right? It's like, what am I putting into here to get this ray result? That's the problem. I don't have a variable to tap into right now. I remember in Minecast, the ray trace would result in a block. Right? It would have some kind of like block ID, like, oh, you know, it went 10 feet and it expired. You created a variable out of it and it created a blank, right? You know, that was an air block that it expired in. Here's the positional data for that air block. I may be in the wrong section. But I feel like I'm spinning my wheels. Let's find someone to raid, because it's getting late. Boop. We will think about this. I just started typing in entity filter into my browser. This is a good time to call it. This is a really good time. Who do we have playing this game? We got someone good, I know it. I could feel it. We got quite a few people. What? Alright, anyone doing modded stuff? Blank equals work in progress, absolutely. Well, there I am. Hardcore mode? Ooh, sounds good. Guys Be Like Vintage Story is a Pretty fun game, I think. Alright, whatever. What is this? Story about 8 people surviving. It's vintage. Okay. None of these are an economy starting. Maybe. Bill Night Stream. You know what? Deliria. Anniversary week. Out of all the people, she is the one I'm following. We are going to give her the old raid-a-rooney exclamation or slash raid. So, Blink work in progress, but preservation is done. Tomorrow I'm going to be playtesting the mod. We don't need Blink in there. The update's done. I just got to make sure that nothing crashes. So the update is done, and it's a big one. It's a big one. It's going to take me a couple hours to just do the change logs. And then update the site information and stuff. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I'll probably be live streaming. It's Friday tomorrow. I'll be live streaming again tomorrow night. We'll make more progress. Tomorrow night's going to be about not really working on this spell. I may work on it for a little bit, but I'm going to be doing the play testing on the server that I'm firing up. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Good night.